Hey guys, we're super excited to have Hannah Watkins here with us today. Hannah is currently the Assistant Manager of Premium Experiences for Pacer Sport and Entertainment and is a recent graduate of University of Evansville where she played collegiate volleyball. She also happens to be my boss, so shout out her for that. And we're super pumped to have her here with us today. Hannah, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun one, guys.
Oh, yeah.
To start, why don't you just tell us what you do in your position?
Yeah, for sure. So with Premium Experience, a lot of what I do is more on the administrative side. So I do a lot of bookkeeping, essentially, of all the different events that we have as Premium, a lot of the accounts that we manage, and really just kind of assist our other 3 managers to make sure that they're set up for success and they have everything that they need. In terms of events, I know you're familiar with this because you work with a lot of events, but we do have a lot of different spaces and a lot of different clients that are in those spaces, and so keeping track of them can be challenging at times. So that's a lot of what I do. I'm now getting into more of account management myself, so getting clients, doing onboarding, making sure that their expectations are met and that everything Premium is to their expectations. So that's been fun to learn. This is really my first job out of college, so having that is a little bit of imposter syndrome, but we're working through it, and it's great.
Cool. What does your typical day usually look like in that job?
Just like on
that position? Like a game day?
Yeah, absolutely. So game days are a lot of fun. We get to come in a little later than normal, which is great. But coming in, making sure, first of all, that all of our activations for that night are up to date. All of our clients, either leased or rental clients that are coming to the game that night, are accounted for, that their all their information is correct, so that when our sales team goes and visits them, or if there's an issue with tickets or anything like that, that we can handle that and resolve it in the easiest way possible. So make sure those are done, and then really just kind of get everything ready for the event or game or whatever's happening that night. So rental signs for our suite clients that are rentals for that game or event, making sure all of our spaces are set up and that everything looks presentable, and then ultimately communicating with our part-time staff and our ambassadors to make sure that they're aware that they work that night and that they're there on time and, have everything that they need. So
telling Kenzie she needs to get to her job.
Yeah.
Kenzie's great. We never have any issues with Kenzie.
I actually am early.
Yes, she's always early.
Yeah, you are.
She waits to clock in until I tell her to clock in, which is amazing.
I do. I listen to my bosses.
Good job.
You're that good employee right there.
Hire her.
In your spaces, obviously, you can have higher up people or celebrities. We had All Star. How have interactions been, or how have interactions been with people and good, bad, and then when you have the bad ones who are angry at you and yelling at you, and how do you, how do you handle those
Yeah, so ultimately, we want to be customer first and give our customers the best experience possible. So whenever we have those bad experiences, it is a little challenging to let them know that, they're right, essentially, and we'll do whatever we can to make it right. But as far as, celebrities and stuff, for the most part, people are great. All-Star, I got to meet Shaq, which was kind of cool.
Yo!
Not to name drop, but he was a cool dude. He was really nice. I feel like there's, All-Star was the prime example of Gainbridge and the Pacers and that organization being on a world stage. And for Premium, the NBA kind of came in and essentially took over, and we were just there as on site. That was our building. We kind of knew the spaces, so we were there just to assist them. And so it was a great time. We got to meet a whole bunch of people and see things that are truly once in a lifetime, and I'm totally fine with them being once in a lifetime.
She's never again.
That was crazy. But really, for the most part, a lot of the higher ups that are in our organization, our account managers are really good about communicating with them, and if there is any issues, making sure that those get resolved, and really just kind of taking initiative to be proactive on those things. So
cool. And what are you looking forward to with the new position will be starting, and how it will be different than what you are now?
So I'm excited about it. Coming into this position, I thought it would be mostly administrative work, but I'm excited to be able to step into kind of that account management role. Yeah. I don't know. It's fun. My favorite thing to do is just work with people and communicate and interact with different across departments and across organizations. So having that opportunity to really, be a part of something bigger than just the administrative and kind of in the background is exciting. So I don't know. We haven't fully gotten into it yet, but hopefully it'll just be good.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, I hope so.
So with obviously the Pacers made the playoffs for the first time in who knows how long, and now we can say it. We got Caitlin Clark. We're allowed to say the name is out there. We're allowed to put it out there now. What's the environment been like in the organization? It's obviously a super exciting time. Just has the office changed? What's kind of the vibe now going on?
There's definitely a lot of excitement going on around the office. I mean, obviously she was the woman that couldn't be named for the longest time because we didn't officially know where she was going. But now that I can say her name. And now that Caitlin is here, there's a lot of excitement around Fever. I think going into it, whenever she declared to be in the draft, there was that, we thought we were going to get her, but, it wasn't certain and we couldn't necessarily come out and talk about it or whatever. But sales skyrocketed, and I think that really just kind of set the tone of how exciting the season was going to be and how many people were actually interested in coming to Fever games. Because, I mean, in the past, for premium spaces, we've, not had a whole lot of interest, and now we're getting a whole lot more interest from people that, wouldn't necessarily want to come to a WNBA game otherwise.
Yeah.
So,
it's super exciting that it's getting like that now.
Oh my gosh, I know. I'm so excited. I think that the Fever especially, but just the WNBA in general, has so much growth potential, and it's just exciting to see somebody as good as Caitlin come into the organization and be able to grow it, hopefully to the fullest it can be. We hope to keep her forever, but
yes, please, Caitlin, please stay,
please forever. Yeah, and then for playoffs, I mean, I think right now there's just so much going on that it's there's so much excitement around different things that it's hard to kind of keep in perspective that even though there is all this excitement, we have so much to do. So overwhelming is a great word to go into it. Being someone who is fresh out of college, first time experiencing all of these things, I don't really have anything to relate it to in terms of people that have worked here for years prior, and they're like, oh, we didn't make playoffs this past year, but then we got our summer and now we're in playoffs and Fever is crazy and there's all these things going on, and
it's all happening at once.
I'm just kind of let's do it. Let's just keep going. So I mean, it's great, we're all excited, and I think that there's only great things to come from here.
Definitely.
What a good first year for you to start. You got All-Star and March Madness and playoffs and Fever and
busy bee.
I know, everyone that I talk to, they're like, it's a great time to work for the Pacers. I'm like, you're not kidding.
No,
it is
the timing
crazy.
was good on that one.
Yeah, very thankful.
Because we went from only having one space open for Fever games, right? And now we're fully staffing games.
Yeah. So the Fever will essentially run very similar to how Pacers games run.
Let's go.
Yeah, so
growth.
Yeah,
big growth.
It's awesome. We are very thankful for our premium ambassadors that assist us in this, and there's going to be a lot of learning to do on the fly during the Fever season, because our building's never operated this way before, so there's going to be a lot going into that. But I mean, it's a great problem to have. We want to be in demand and want people to come to our games and be in our spaces. So I think we're just excited for the opportunity and know that we have a great opportunity to excel and exceed people's expectations of what we can do.
Yeah, it's going to be so cool, because I feel this year with Gamebridge, All-Star, and now Caitlin, we're bringing in people from all over to this space.
Yeah.
And
Gosh.
Indy's getting, I mean, they've been on the map, but we're getting on the map now. I've heard, I've talked to people who are season ticket holders are coming from everywhere, basically.
Oh my gosh, I know. We've gotten leads from so many different states, and it's crazy because there's people that are from Ohio and Kentucky.
Just
and,
wild, because aren't they going to drive or fly to every game?
Oh,
right,
yeah.
Right. And even places farther, which, I mean, I think people are just excited for her, but also, what she can do for
what a name to put us on the map.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Caitlin.
Shout out.
A shout out for Caitlin, for real.
Yeah.
So kind of switching over now to you being a collegiate athlete. What was that like? What was your experience like?
It was a great experience. I tell people all the time that I wouldn't have had it any other way. I'm originally from Henderson, Kentucky, so University of Evansville is about 15 minutes north of where I grew up. So,
no way.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. So if you would have asked me when I was, young, 6th grade, just starting to get into competitive volleyball and really thinking about pursuing it collegiately, and upon that, I would have told you I didn't want to be anywhere near home. I wanted to be at UCLA or somewhere that was a plane ride away. But the University of Evansville gave me an amazing opportunity to play volleyball, get my degree, and just have that full experience. And so it really just made sense for me to go there. And it was a smaller school, so I got a lot more opportunities to do different things and be involved in different things that I would have if I had pursued a larger school. So yeah, it was awesome. I got to travel a lot of different places. I know you hear about a lot of athletes that talk about like being in sports and having that ability to travel to places that you would never go, and got to do it on the university's dime, so that was great. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What was your favorite place you traveled while playing?
So we actually played in a tournament in Waco, Texas.
Ooh.
So we played Baylor. Absolutely got demolished by Baylor.
I was gonna say that seems like not a fair.
That's right.
I'm pretty sure they set like a school record for beating a team that bad. And I know it's not something to brag about, but it's just crazy that you think about schools like that and it's like, yeah, we're tiny little Evansville. Like,
Yeah,
we're
that's
just
crazy you
here.
even played them.
Yeah, which I mean, our coach, he was the Puerto Rican national team coach for the women, and now he's the South Korean national coach for women for volleyball. So he has all kinds of connections all over the place. So
holy cow.
he really enabled us to play a bunch of different places and do a bunch of different things at a small school like Evansville. You wouldn't think
what was
would
he
get
doing
to
there?
do.
Is he still there?
He is. So he's originally from Puerto Rico, and he played professionally for umpteen years and then coached professionally in Puerto Rico and just made all kinds of different connections. I think he played in like Greece, he played in Croatia, he played in all these different countries, and so that really enabled him to make all these different connections and ultimately like helped us be able to go out and do a bunch of different things that
Right.
I mean, you wouldn't think. I mean, Evansville was Division I, but it wasn't. It's not.
It'd be like here.
It's
It's
not
like
Purdue or
It's
Indiana
like
University.
similar
Yeah.
here.
It's like here. Yeah.
That's super
So,
cool.
yeah.
What position were you?
I was a middle blocker. So
Tall girl.
yeah. Well, technically, I'm short for a middle, so 6'1" is short.
Nuh-uh.
But it was fun. I could jump a little bit, so that helps. So
I mean, they
that
put you there
helps.
for a reason, so yeah, I'm sure you
helps.
can.
Right. That's awesome. What was it like to learn under him, like with all his experience and?
I mean, it was a great opportunity. I wouldn't, change it for the world. He taught me a lot about volleyball in terms of how to be a better player, how to see the court better and be a better teammate, but he also taught me how to be like a better human and be a better, well-rounded person getting out of college. So going into it, I was green. I was just, young and excited about being able to be in the college sports scene, but I had no idea how much went into it and how much work it was actually going to be with school and travel and practice and workouts and summers and all the things that you don't necessarily take into consideration. And he really cared about us as people and as, human beings and our mental well-being and really making sure that we were getting enough sleep, making sure that we were actually eating food and not just saying we did and didn't.
Yeah.
Making sure that we, if our classes were struggling, that we were getting the help that we needed and not just failing, because ultimately that affected us on the court. So he was a great coach. I'm very thankful for him. And
That's really awesome to have that support when you're super busy and because you were also in a sorority, right?
Oh, yeah.
How was it managing those three different things, like the sports, the school, and sorority?
It was a challenge. I mean, I always tell people that if you want to perfect time management, be a college athlete, because it does truly take all of my time. I mean, I was waking up at 5 a.m. every day to go work out and then going straight to class and then coming home, going to practice, and then I'd go straight to our sorority meeting afterwards, and I probably wouldn't get home until 9 p.m. every night and go to bed and wake up and do the exact same thing the next day. Plus, I had a dog for the last 3 years, so...
Nemo.
So cute.
Shout out Nemo.
Yeah, he's the best. He's a little rat most of the time, but he's the best. So, I mean, it was a lot. I definitely had a lot of people in my corner and a lot of people that wanted me to succeed, so I think that ultimately helped me and gave me the tools that I needed to do all those things. the sorority that I was in was AOPI, and my mom was also in AOPI, so I was a legacy.
That's super
so
cool.
that was something that, going into college, I knew that was something that I wanted to be involved in, just to have that connection with my mom, and we actually have matching tattoos for it.
pretty.
I don't know if they could see it, but so that was something that going into college, like I knew I wanted to play sports, and I knew I wanted to be involved in Greek life in a sorority somehow, just to have that connection. And Evansville ultimately provided that. And
That's awesome.
I mean, I got to do a lot of different things with my sorority. I was on our t-shirt chair, so I did a lot of stuff for our social events.
Yeah.
I was on our leadership committee, so being able to be a part of different meetings and have that different responsibility, and also be a co-captain on the volleyball team and keep above a 3.5 GPA was
Hard, I'm
crazy.
sure.
But I definitely think it helped mold me into the person that I am today, and ultimately like set me up for success within this career, because you do wear a lot of hats and you do participate in a lot of different things, and ultimately having the Pacers and the Fever and the Mad Ants all going on retrospectively at the exact same time. I mean, like there's just so much that we have to juggle, and so I think that it definitely like prepared me for this. So.
Yeah.
That's what I was definitely going to ask, because you were so busy, like how that shaped like where you are now, which is awesome because you learned time management. And
Oh yeah.
That's how she gets through her long days
Yeah.
at work now.
Yes.
So you have all this, you're juggling all this, and then like COVID gets thrown into this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what was that like for you? Like, obviously you would have played kind of after COVID, before, during all the
So-
time frames.
Yeah, so COVID happened, let's see, would have been my second semester of my freshman year of college.
Oh, my.
So we got sent home, well, something like that. Maybe it was, second semester of freshman year. We got sent home on spring break in March and didn't come back. So it was huge because, I mean, we spent that entire time home not playing sports, not being able to really interact with people. And so from a volleyball perspective, like, it really took a toll on our, team connection, and also just being in shape and being able to work out, because a lot of the stuff you were doing was at home.
Yeah.
And some people
Yeah.
have more access to things than other people. So, I mean, I think I was in my garage with, like, water jugs doing, like, over-the-head presses.
Oh
and,
my
like,
gosh.
just trying to get whatever I could get my hands on, like, just doing the most randomest things, doing lunges on, like, our deck chairs, like, the Bulgarian split squats, like, putting my feet up on whatever I could to, like, do that, and also, like, hitting the volleyball against, the brick of the house and all that kinds of stuff that you did when you were a kid.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever
You never
works.
thought that you would have to do, ever again.
Right.
So
Wow.
that aspect of it was huge. Coming back from COVID was, I think, one of the hardest things, because we did practice during the summer when we probably shouldn't have.
It's fine.
But it
all
was
right.
like one of our, so we have a club team that our coach is like a part of, and one of those girls, their family had this humongous like pole barn essentially. And there was a volleyball court in the pole barn.
No way.
Oh yeah, there's like a guy by where I live that has a basketball court. Like that's
Yeah.
a thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that is a thing. Usually,
those small
in the
town.
small
they got
town
the land.
Amish have like basketball cement, basketball courts
Me.
like everywhere.
My house.
Oh my gosh. So we literally would like drive. This was like 15 minutes off campus, and we would drive there and practice, and then go back to our
You're like,
little
bye
houses.
guys.
Yeah. Like, okay, see ya.
Wow.
But yeah, so that helped a little bit, but it was such a weird time, and
It
like
was.
Yeah.
it was just
It's a fever dream.
It was super weird. 'Cause
Literally.
I also, because we were seniors in high school when that happened, and my softball season was just cut off. So it's super weird just stopping sports altogether in life.
Yeah, like I know about like we had our freshmen that came in that year.
Yeah.
Had the same experience, and they're like, we didn't graduate. I'm like, what do you mean you didn't graduate?
What?
Yeah, we just
They're
didn't
like, we
graduate.
just drove by in cars and waved at people, and that was our graduation.
No
I'm like,
way.
that is insane.
We still had one, but there was nobody in the stadium with us. It was
Oh.
so weird.
Yeah, they did like it was like through their town or like in front of the school, and they did like their parents would drive them, and they'd be in the car, and like they'd say their name and they'd drive by.
It's so funny that people did that.
Like imagine in like 20 years when we're telling people this.
Like,
Like,
what?
you
Like,
did
that's
what?
why.
I'm a COVID graduate. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
what a time. Man, that's
So,
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine going from like, especially like you're a freshman, like you're cut off, you're done, you don't do anything, and then you're thrown into college athletics. Like,
I felt so bad. I mean, they definitely took it like a champ because they came in and like immediately went to work and didn't complain.
They were just thankful to be playing.
Oh my
Probably.
gosh, yeah. And that was the other thing is like I felt so bad because from a social standpoint, like obviously you're in college, you want to do all these fun things and like have that college experience, and they couldn't do that because we were in a bubble. I mean, we could only hang out with our teammates. We went to practice, we went home. That was, we had special times to go into the dining hall to get food when there was nobody else in there.
What?
Yeah, all the athletes had like specific times that they went in and like, yeah. So.
Talk about team connection, dude.
Oh
No,
my gosh,
actually, you
I
spent
spent
all the
way
time.
too
Y'all
much time
basically
with those
living
girls.
together. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Did you ever have to play with like masks?
Oh yeah, we played a whole season with masks.
Oh my god.
How did you do that? Like,
It was hard. One of my teammates, oh my God, God love her. Her name's Melanie. I love her to death. She's one of my best friends.
Shout out Melanie.
We love her. She is a G. She's been through it. She's had so many injuries, and she's like one of the best players I've ever played with. But she has asthma really bad.
Oh no.
And so she would wear her mask, and she'd have to like pull it down, and we'd be like, "Get the inhaler, Kendra, come over here, get her inhaler." And it was just like,
oh my gosh.
I just knew at one point it was like in the middle of a play, and she just stopped, and I was like pushed her out of the way and like just passed the ball. I'm like, just go, go sit down.
Yeah,
you need to
that's
chill out.
wild. They couldn't even make an exception
And
for
the
that.
the refs were awful too. Like if your mask was like below your nose, they would like tell you to like pull it up.
You're already out of breath as it is. Volleyball, you're constantly moving around, and to wear a mask, I couldn't imagine
I
that.
could not imagine.
It was crazy. It was, I mean, definitely that is like a story to tell people. It's like I played a whole volleyball season in a mask.
with a mask.
Was it just the first season after COVID?
Yeah, so they canceled our fall season for that next year, and then we played in the spring. So it was that.
You like pushed it back.
Yeah, so we played a spring season and then turned around and played a fall season
Oh.
in the same year. We played two
What?
seasons in 1 year, essentially. Yeah. So
Dang.
How do you?
my sophomore year, my sophomore year started in like, I don't even remember, whatever, the fall. We didn't have that sophomore season, went into that spring of the next year, and then, so 2021, I guess?
Yeah.
Spring 2021, played my sophomore season, turned around, fall 2021, played my junior season.
So those freshmen literally went.
boom, boom,
Do you even
yeah.
have time to bring in
No.
the new
Think twice.
players? Really?
Let's just say that spring season, we did not make it any farther than regular season play. There was no postseason,
mean,
and
that's-
it was...
That's hard to
That's
go
a
back to back.
struggle.
Yeah, it was rough. I mean, I think that's probably the worst season we'd had in the years that I'd been there.
I mean,
I believe
rightfully
it.
so.
Under the circumstances.
Like, how do you? And then you get used to playing in masks, and then all of a sudden you're like back to like.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you don't have to wear them anymore. Like, oh, good. Love that. Thank you.
Good. I'm
Yeah.
glad.
You're like, oh.
Thanks.
Yeah. So,
Dang. When you like are coming back and like, or I guess throughout your whole like, what was like mental health resources like for you guys, or like even just fitness health? Like, did you have a lot of like support in that, or like was it kind of just like whatever?
It was hard. I mean, I think our coach did a really good job of trying to provide us with resources if we were struggling mentally. I mean, Evansville is such a small school that there's only so many resources that they have. So, I mean, the counselors that they had on campus were really good about like proactively reaching out to the teams and like offering services if we needed anything. But ultimately, it was like we kind of relied on each other to push each other, and like if we were having an off day, like be that person that they could rely on to pick them up and all that kinds of stuff. But I definitely think that's something that they should have pushed more of.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of my teammates like struggled with that really bad, and I mean I was one of them that kind of
Yeah.
struggled with it just because I'm such an outgoing and you
Right.
know,
I would say especially after COVID, like that's a
Got
hard
that taken
yeah.
away.
transition. Yeah.
Did they try and make it more of a priority after that year?
Yeah, so it got better. I mean, I think what helped with that was the ability to kind of get back to more normal-ish. I mean, we were still
Yeah.
like, be cautious about where you go, be cautious about who
Yeah.
you hang around, like don't go to any big parties or like don't go to anything like that. And yeah, so that was hard, but I mean, I think it got better because classes were in person again, and you know, we had those connections with those people and the ability to actually go out to a restaurant and eat and not have to sit in your house or your dorm and
Have your
be
scheduled
in
time to
lonesome.
the food.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is like you can't eat yet. Go back to your room.
Go back.
They're
home.
like, so volleyball, you guys can come in at like 12. I'm like, oh, okay. Practice is over at 11:30, so we'll just go straight after that.
Perfect.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I can't believe that.
Yeah.
So with like your time playing volleyball and like your position now, like if you could give advice to like someone a woman, more specifically, like going into the sports industry, or a college athlete right now, like what's something like you would tell them or give them, I guess?
That's a really good question. I mean, I think I would definitely tell them to, like, go for it. Like, if you have a thought that you either want to be involved in collegiate, like, athletics, or if you want to, you know, pursue a career in sports, like, you never know if you don't try. So you might as well go for it. And, you know, they say, like, try again. If you fail, get up, try again. So always have belief in yourself and, like, believe that your abilities are good enough and that, you know, you can do it. So, yeah.
Boom. That's like
Absolutely. That was really good.
Boom, right there.
How did you use your experiences and what you worked on in college afterwards with internships and jobs that you're in now?
Yeah, so that was a lot of trial and error. Actually, my internship with the Indianapolis Indians was like the one true internship that I had, just because it was the timing of my schedule was never available enough to fully have a full internship. But I think going straight into the sports industry was a huge benefit for me, just because I was around sports in college and I went straight into a business that relied strictly around sports. So that schedule, which is a really tough schedule, 75 home games is a lot of home games.
Oh, yeah.
But just going straight into that schedule really, like, allowed me to kind of adapt and get into the flow a lot easier. What I was doing was more of, like, business operations. So I did a lot of, like, financial reporting and analyzing and helping with, like, HR needs and, like, that sort of thing. So that was new, which my boss was amazing and just kind of guided me and helped me get into that field. And
That's the best.
oh my gosh,
That's
she's the
the
best. Sarah
best.
Haynes, shout out.
Sarah
She's
Haynes,
the
shout
best.
out.
But yeah, so she kind of, like, helped guide me into what that role was. So that wasn't super hard. And I was also an intern. So, like, they gave me a lot of responsibility, not as much like a lot more than what I was going to get.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to get. But just, I guess that sports environment was something that I was so used to that everything else felt natural. So.
Boom. That's good.
What? So with your internship there, you said you had a lot of responsibility. What was the best parts about it, and what was your job like day to day, really?
Yeah, so every day was a little different, especially on game days. That was, I mean, I was a part of the tarp team. So
Ooh, okay,
I
go
was
tarp team.
one of the people that got to, when there was bad weather, go out there and pull that fun tarp. And then when all the rain was on it, I got to pull it off.
I can only imagine.
Oh my gosh. I mean, like, just side note to talk about that. So there would be days where it was like, they did a really good job of, like, trying to do it during semi-normal-ish business hours, but it'd be like 7 a.m. if you're up, like, come pull the tarp, like, it's gonna rain.
Oh boy.
Or it rained, we have a game today, like, come take the tarp off. So that was crazy. Showing up to work
fun.
in gym shorts and a t-shirt was super fun, and then having to change into dress clothes was, that was really
Big
interesting.
change.
Did it both.
Yeah.
Did it both.
Yeah. It's like, they're like, you're pulling tarp, aren't you? I'm like, yep,
Yeah, I
sure
am.
am.
You're like, hey, guys.
So that was a really fun part about that job. But no, one of probably my favorites, which I had no idea that I was going to be given this responsibility, was essentially being in charge of all of our, like, ticket takers. So
Oh.
Okay.
that part-time staff, I was in charge of hiring new people. I was in charge of,
Wow.
you know, like, scheduling them, making sure that their hours were accounted for so they
Yeah.
got paid, making sure their hours were right, making sure that if they didn't show up or couldn't show up, that we found a replacement. And, like, that was a lot of
As
my
an
sole
intern?
responsibility.
Wow.
That's people's
Did I-
full-time job.
To hire intern, like basically other interns or workers
Yeah.
as an intern.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, guys, I'm your boss, and I'm an intern.
There's one guy that I hired, and he was, like, retired, and I'm like, I'm 23, 22 years old, and I'm hiring you. This is great.
Yeah.
So it was really strange, but it was fun. I mean, that was a lot of, like, what really interested me to go into the position that I am in now.
I was gonna say,
was
it
just
kinda
that
goes
ability
well.
to work
Yeah.
with our other staff, and I created great relationships with those people, and a lot of our ticket takers that are at Victory Field now, or they were doing both, and our ushers at the field house. So, like, it was a really easy transition to go
Yeah.
into the field
Nice.
house and see familiar faces, and, like, them be so excited to see me, and, like, be excited to see them. And so that was really fun, and creating those relationships, like, those are people that, they love what they do. Just be,
Yeah.
They're
they go
doing it
to
for
work.
fun.
Yeah, they're either retired and like just doing it for grandkid money or whatever. So
Whatever they're doing. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's super cool that you could transition from the one job to the next and know people still.
oh my gosh, it was cool. It was crazy because it was like the first week that I had been in the job and we had an event or something. And I went into the field house and was like, hey, so-and-so, hey, so-and-so, hey, so-and-so. They're like, wow, you know a lot of people. Like,
Everybody.
how do you know everybody? I'm like, oh, just from the other place.
Just
But,
know people.
yeah, just know everybody.
Man, volleyball to baseball to basketball.
Yeah.
Just
So-
transitioned.
Because you went straight from the Indians to the Pacers, right?
Yeah, so my internship was technically supposed to end in September, I believe, and I got hired on the end of August. So, like,
Oh,
I went
back.
straight from
New sport.
baseball season into fever season, straight into Pacer season.
Which do you prefer? Do you like baseball or basketball better?
I don't know. So, funny thing is, so I dated this guy, and he was a baseball player, and went to a lot of his games, and they're so boring.
Thank you.
I love baseball.
She's
Come on.
the baseball girl and I'm the
They're
basketball girl.
so long, and I can't follow the ball in the air to save my life. So I would watch them or whoever hit the ball, and I'm like, oh, that's great. And they're like, it's a home run. I'm like, oh, great. Like, I didn't see it where it was going.
I always say, like, once you either, like, play basketball or watch basketball, every other sport is so slow.
Oh my gosh.
Because
Yeah.
I played
So
softball,
slow.
so it was also I also grew up watching baseball from my brother playing, so it made my interest more
Yeah.
into that, and I love it so much.
I just can't.
I love
I love it.
softball. I love to watch softball.
Yeah.
So much better than baseball.
I
My
agree.
best friend played college softball,
I
and
can
like,
see why.
oh my gosh, love it. It's so fun. It's so much faster.
It is faster.
Also, if you think about it, they throw the ball so much harder.
They do. It's
Their
crazy
pitching is
watching.
harder.
The
Yeah.
best part is watching professional baseball players try and hit a softball pitch.
Oh
and
my
they can't
gosh.
do it.
That's they have like TikTok videos of it, and it's the funniest thing to watch ever.
Yeah, baseball, I just can't. We
funny.
just, like, went to Fenway, and, like,
Yeah.
I was like, Dan, can we go? Like, I'm
Come
so
on,
bored. I'm like,
no.
it's so cool, but I'm so bored.
I
like,
just wanted to see a certain player get hit. Jackson Holiday. I wanted to see him get his first hit
we kind
ever.
of did.
Not really, but kind of.
It's an error, but he hit the ball.
In my eyes, it counted. And I got up and cheered for him all on my own.
And all the Red Sox fans stared at you. It was awesome.
I will say there is nothing better than like a nice like 75-degree summer day at a baseball park.
Oh,
That is
yeah.
the
That's
best.
true.
But when
vibes.
it's like raining or cold, I'm like, I'm out.
That was the game we went to. It was raining and
it was
cold.
horrible. And it went extra innings, and I was like, "Today we're leaving."
We didn't stay.
No, I was like, "We're out."
So that was the worst whenever I worked there, is that if it went extra innings, it's like, oh, I'm going to be here forever.
Yeah, because
We're gonna
Yeah.
get
but
back.
the
Sometimes
pitch
they
clock
think-
helps a lot.
Oh,
my
yeah.
gosh, I love the
They used
pitch
to be
clock.
so long. I was like, "Oh my!"
Yeah.
But no, it's fine.
Yeah,
But I still think basketball's superior,
it is.
and I live by that.
Because, like, I mean, even when it goes overtime, it's not that. It's
No.
not that much longer.
It's just faster because they're always going.
You know, one thing I did learn about whenever I worked at Madigan's game is that they don't actually do overtime.
That's same. It's
Points.
I was
I had
so
no idea.
confused. That it was like 1st to 7 or like. I had to ask Sherman. I was like, "What's going on?" I also didn't know that they had 6 fouls because I had just been watching like
Yeah.
college basketball.
Yeah,
6 fouls.
even NBA, WNBA, they all do. She worked there and she don't even know it. Yeah,
first game I worked, I asked the other team attendants. I was like, "Why was he still playing? He had 5,000. He was still in." I was
That
so
makes
confused.
so much sense now.
Yeah, WNBA and everyone. So there's like this joke, like the college like girls that are coming in, they're like, "Don't worry, guys, you get 6 fouls. Like you're gonna be good. It's gonna be fine." Yeah,
Oh
it's so
gosh.
the things you learn in the sports world.
you learn.
all
Oh my
the
gosh.
time.
I thought I knew it.
That just shows how much I actually pay attention when I'm working.
I say, do you even get to watch the games?
It depends. I haven't been to a Pacers game as a fan. I've only worked them.
Oh,
So that's great. But hopefully I'll get to go to some Fever games as a fan.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
hopefully you
excited
can-
for that.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
It's gonna be awesome.
Because you'll
I'm
be doing
excited.
the same thing with the Fever as you're the Pacers.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Like, sorry guys, can't come in today. I'm gonna go watch it.
Sick. Sorry.
Did you?
And then we see her.
Did you work last season for the Fever?
So I came in at a really weird time. So I started on like August 28th. So they
Oh,
were
dang, you
towards
got
the
the end.
end of their
Oh,
season.
yeah.
So it was like people were still excited, but like not
Yeah.
that.
We were like,
you know.
we're 6 and 20.
Yeah. So I came in at kind of a weird time, but I mean, I got to work a couple of them. For me, it was really cool because that was the first experience that I had with like the WNBA or NBA.
Yeah.
Right.
So being able to kind of see that setup and be in that space was really cool and kind of a good, I think, introduction into
Yeah, I
it
was gonna
because
say.
they weren't as busy as our Pacers games were. So
Right.
I kind of was able to slowly learn our spaces and kind of how everything operates. And
Yeah, I was like, that was a good season to come in because we were like getting more people slowly with like AB and Grace Burgers fans coming in, and then now it's like
yeah.
Yeah.
sold out.
know.
Boom.
What are you most excited for with the Fever coming up to start in the beginning of the season compared to being at the end last year?
I just think the hype is going to be crazy.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is
Like, I am so excited to just see how many people actually come out. I mean, the draft party that they had on Monday, there was over 6,000 people
Yeah,
there.
we were there. It was
Yeah, we were
it was
there.
wild.
There were so many people there. I mean, it was awesome. Like, just to watch a screen.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You're just there to
In
Yeah.
49 other states, it's just basketball, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Indiana.
it was great. I mean, like, I knew that the excitement around Caitlin and around the
Yeah.
team was going to be high, but, like, Indianapolis has fully exceeded my expectations so far.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
welcome
I'm
to
just
Indy.
Yeah, I'm just excited to see kind of how that progresses, and hopefully it stays throughout the entire season and doesn't fall off. And
Yeah.
And the next year, and the next year, and the next year.
yeah, and we're
Yeah.
just gonna
Next
keep
year.
getting great players and
I just
winning
hope it's
championships.
Period.
fully through the season instead of like just the beginning, like the hype. But
Yeah.
I hope fans stay.
Yeah, my hope is that like her success and the team success just continues to get high, and like playoffs
Yeah.
is an opportunity, and like the ability to win and be a great like team and compete.
Yeah.
keeps people coming back. So.
And I think also, like, with this draft class, like, not even just for us, but, like, the other teams getting these big
Oh
names,
my
too. Like,
gosh.
The
we're
draft
going to
class
play
is
them, and people are
good.
going to want to come. People are going to watch us play the Sky because Angel Reese and Cardoso were there. Like, they're going
Yeah.
to come for both. The Liberty of
Definitely
Stewie
building
and Sabrina.
all the
and-
teams, not just the Fever. Like everyone's getting these new like players that have been all over social media.
that kids have been following.
Yeah.
But we got Caitlin, so it's like, we kind of win. But
we win at life.
we are winning, guys.
end.
Boom. All right, well,
Based
And
on, yeah, I
this.
would say based off us talking about female athletes.
So we end this question for everybody, and it's, who's your favorite female athlete and why?
Oh my god, that's such a hard question.
Throwing you at that one.
There's so many.
There is. Take your time. Think this one through.
God, you really do make me because there's so many. Like,
Yeah.
I grew up watching mainly basketball, but also like women's volleyball and like Carrie Walsh Jennings, like watching
Oh,
her
yeah.
play. Oh my gosh! So I think I'll have to say her.
Yeah.
and I can tell you why. So growing up, like my mom coached high school volleyball, and I was a soccer player. So like. The
Yeah.
schedules didn't align very well.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I'm never going to play volleyball. I'm going to play soccer. I'm going to play basketball. I'm going to run track. Like, I'm going to do all these things, but I will never play volleyball. And I was like, okay, that's whatever. That's
Yeah.
fine.
She's like, we'll see.
and
okay.
it was this one afternoon, and I remember it vividly. And there was a volleyball game on, and Carrie was playing. And my mom was like, look, like, you can't tell me that doesn't look fun. And I think I sat there and watched the rest of the game. Like, I like just sat there and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
didn't talk, was just locked in. And I think that was kind of the moment that I realized, like, oh crap, like this might be what I want to play.
Might
And,
actually
I
wanna
mean,
do that.
I was 6 years old, so
Wow.
that was, a long, long time ago. But after that, like, I wanted to go to practice with her every single day. Like, I was like, Mom, can I go to practice? Like, in the summer when they had training camp and they had, all these different things that the high school players were doing, I thought was so cool. I was like, I want to run with you guys. I want to do the mile test. I want to do all these things.
No
and my mom's like,
thanks.
you're not going to be saying that when you're that age. Like,
No.
You're like, why did I ever want
my
to do that?
gosh.
they hated me. Oh my gosh. So they had to run like the sprints where they were in a long line and like you'd blow the whistle and they'd have to run to the front of the line before the next
Oh,
whistle got
yeah.
blown. And I was like, I want to be in front. And my mom was like, no, no, you don't. Because as a kid, like I was pretty fast. Like
Yeah.
I could run. So I would be in the back and I'd sprint so fast.
Oh,
And they
no.
were like so over it. They're like,
Oh,
Hannah,
no.
you're out.
You're like,
You're
can
out."
this kid go home?
Yeah.
I'm done.
Sick of this girl.
But yeah, so I think just like that kind of solidified that, I wanted to start getting into volleyball and like that was a sport that I loved.
Yeah.
And that kind of just transpired into what led me to start, playing competitively, I guess is the
Yeah.
right word, in guess I was 14 when I started playing competitively, so kind of like a later start, but
Yeah.
from
Worked
there,
out
like,
for you.
Still the good time to do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, she's definitely like, I don't really follow volleyball, but that's like the one player I think I could name.
Oh, volleyball is so fun to watch.
It is.
It is, but like
Yeah.
I just wouldn't know anybody. But
No.
as soon as she said her name, I was like, yep.
I think now, like, probably not my favorite player of all time, but like recent players, I don't know if you know who this is. So Logan Eggleston, she was the outside hitter for Texas, and she was like female athlete of the year, all
Yeah.
these different things.
Wait,
But-
is it from this year? This past year?
yeah.
Isn't her dad like is that the one whose dad is like NBA player or something?
No, that's
Another one.
Asia O'Neal.
Oh, yeah.
She's awesome
Oh.
too. She was
Okay, I was
Okay.
like, I thought she was
was
on the team too.
Yeah,
Okay.
she was a middle at Texas, and now she plays for the Columbus Fury.
Yeah.
Which one of my friend's dads is the assistant coach there.
Oh, that's cool.
Whoa.
But no, with Logan, like I grew up playing against her. So she played in Nashville, and I played in Owensboro, Kentucky at the time. And so whenever we would travel, like we always, would meet up with teams that you were like not that far from, but
Right.
we'd be in Orlando and play a team that's like 15 minutes away.
Yep.
So grew up playing against her and just watched her and how amazing she was like as a younger athlete, and then going into playing collegiately, and like she obviously went and played at Texas, which is a completely different scale than what I played.
Right.
But just watching her like and the athlete that she is still currently,
Yeah.
but also like just the amazing human that she is awesome. And like I think that's like the perfect example of what college sports, even like Caitlin Clark, like if you watch her press conference, her ability to speak in front of an audience and a
Yeah.
crowd is insane. Like these women that are athletes are not just athletes, like they're women, like they're
They're
women,
people
they're
too, like,
they're
they're-
intellectuals, they're people that have aspirations other than just being whatever sport
Yeah.
athlete that they are. And I think that's really cool and something that I think the women are better at than the men.
I definitely was gonna say,
Period.
and women
Yeah.
have so much more pressure on them when it comes to like the
Yeah,
press
they do.
conferences. Like, if Caitlyn were to say something that some man has said sometime, the world would blow up.
Have you
you
seen some
know?
of Zach Eady's interviews?
Oh my gosh, that man!
No.
Like, I just like
I mean, you just think about stuff like that. Like, I feel like they can get away with saying.
men
just
don't think
about
twice about it.
anything,
They
and
don't
it's
think
like,
twice about it.
No,
They
they
just
don't.
laugh and like go on with it. But like if a female or a woman were to say something like that, it was like
That would be
Oh, it would
everywhere
blow
on the
up.
internet.
Yeah,
no
it
one would
would-
stop talking
Yeah.
about
Nobody,
it.
yeah.
yeah.
What do you think like about this new indie pro volleyball team that's coming here?
So I'm very excited about it.
I'm very excited about it.
If I were still playing in college, I probably would try and play.
Hey, you could take your fifth year.
I could, yeah, I could
Do
go back.
it.
And take
Go
my
back
fifth
for
year.
the 5th year.
Ha, yeah. So about that.
She's like, no thanks.
But no, I think, I mean, obviously, like, I'm partial because I'm biased because I grew up playing
Yeah.
volleyball and played in college and whatnot. But I just think that recently there's been so much excitement around women's volleyball in the U.S. And before then, like, whenever I graduated, like, that wasn't a thing. Like, if you wanted to play
Yeah.
professionally, like, you had to
Yeah.
go overseas.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I had, I mean, if I wanted to play, I probably could have gone to, like, the United Kingdom and played. Or
Right,
one of my really good
overseas.
friends plays in Germany and, like, all these different places. But it's like that wasn't for me. I wanted
Yeah.
to stay in the same, country as
Right.
my
Area.
family, and so that just wasn't an option. And so I think now, like, having that opportunity for people out of collegiate like athletics to go
Yeah.
into the indie, or just the Pro Volleyball Federation is huge. And I think that there's only great things that are in store for that.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
Super
There's
excited
this-
to learn more about what they're doing.
It's gonna be cool. Whatever happens, it's gonna
So-
be cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think they put this out, but they're in Fishers. That's
Yes.
where they're,
Okay.
Yeah,
their
they're starting to
stadium is.
build like a.
and I think that's going to be awesome for Fishers because, I mean, you think about sports and it's downtown. And I think having that ability to expand and really make Indy, like
Yeah.
a whole Indianapolis, like,
Yeah.
Because they're also
Sports.
getting. I think Fisher's just getting the fuel, and now the fuel's
as a
moving.
hockey team.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
moving
yeah.
up to Fishers.
They are?
And Noblesville's getting the Mad Ants. Like it's moving.
Yeah.
Kind of in the
Out.
suburbs,
Kinda
which is going to
spreading
be
out.
cool.
Should be good, yeah.
There's a girl who played volleyball at Purdue. I cannot think of her name. It might have been Anders. Might have been the last name. She plays overseas now, I think. But she was on a competitive dance team at the same place that I was on.
Nuh-uh.
I have to find her on Instagram. I follow her. But she plays like in like Korea or something like that now. I don't know. But I think her last name is Andrews, but I can't think.
How do you know so many people?
You know, that's just a solid question. And I
She's
don't.
just
We'll
like,
be at work and she'll whip out something. And I'm like, how do you
yeah,
know
and we
that?
like, I'm like walking anywhere with her, and she goes, "Oh hey,
I do know
I don't know
everybody.
you."
I cannot. And then Maddie Shimmerhorn played at Purdue too. She's from our area. She went to West Noble.
Really?
I can't think of what this girl's name is, but my mom was like, I was watching the Purdue game, and my mom was like, oh, that's blah, blah, blah. And I was like, how do we know who that is? And she was like, she literally was a dancer, like, with you. Like, she helped coach you. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, Kenzie did pageants and she danced.
If you didn't catch that before.
And I was a competitive cheerleader. So I can put that out. Oh. for one season.
This is wild.
I cheered in elementary school back when they did like the ABA, like you could play
Yeah.
basketball.
Oh, yeah.
And I played basketball
still
and I
determined to
cheered,
figure this
and
girl out.
I'm pretty sure they like kicked me off of the cheer team. Like,
Yeah, I
and
cheered
said
in
just stick to basketball.
third
'cause-
grade. That was
yeah.
it. I hated it. Just not for me.
Annie Drews. USA Volleyball Olympic gold medalist that played at Purdue. She's a lot older. Like, she would have graduated. I don't even know when. She's like a blonde.
Yeah.
She was a dancer
see?
with me.
Show me.
Well, I just got rid of it. Hold
Oh
on.
my gosh.
It's
but-
fine. It's okay.
I'll
You'll
show
show
you
me
later.
later.
But yeah, so
Cool.
cheerleader, all the things.
Can't believe that.
Started my athletic career as a cheerleader and a dancer, and
That stuff's hard.
yeah, my
I have
sister,
no rhythm, so
my sister
Me
played it
neither.
for
Me neither.
ever, and then she was supposed to cheer at Purdue. My sister was, and didn't. So, whew,
gosh.
well,
This was super fun.
Yeah,
I'm
this
so
was-
happy you came.
yeah. Thank you for joining us.
yeah.
It's
Thanks for
fun.
having me, guys.
Yeah.
Bye.